Hey there, everyone. What is up? I am back with Peter Avalon. This is, I think, part two. No, part three now, Peter. This is
I
our
think
third
so.
interview.
I think so. The first was in person. I think the last one wasn't. So
Yeah, I know. It's so crazy just like how much we've been able to like get to know each other over the years. You're definitely one of my favorite people that I get to see when I go to the actual shows. I'm like, yay, it's Peter. I know him.
hell yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. So I guess I'll just start off with asking you, like, first and foremost, how's your day going? How's the week treating you? We're getting right into the holiday season.
I holidays are fun. It's all just the days blurred together, but it's exciting. There's Halloween and then Thanksgiving where we get to be gluttons, and then Christmas where we get to be gluttons, and then Halloween also we got to be gluttons too. So it's not. It's all right. It's good. It keeps me busy. I'm busy working, so that's fabulous.
Yes, that's the best thing because the last time that you and I spoke, you had just announced that you were going to be taking on, additional dates, working in indies and pretty much wherever you wanted to, wherever the wind took you and whatnot. And since then,
Mhm.
like you've been all over, like not just AEW Dark, obviously, but you've been doing New Japan Strong, NWA, Circle Six, Prestige. I saw you at GCW, LA
That's right.
Fights. I mean, we've just been seeing each other a bunch of places. So ever since you started taking on new dates and adding more to your schedule, what has that been like for you?
It's been very freeing. It's very free to have to be able to kind of just do uh, what I desire. You know what I mean? I'm kind of, I guess, a nomad right now, roaming. So it's nice. I get to be a part of AEW when they want, and then I'm making a presence known at New Japan Strong. I'm currently undefeated, and I will be there in November and December. So that's fabulous. NWA was a wonderful experience, and I can't wait to come back. So Billy Corgan, I'm ready when you are, my man. And it's been nice to do all the other indies as well. Circle Six is a fabulous product. It was nice to work LA Fights when it was out here. It's been nice to keep busy. I'm busy with acting. I had a movie come out, as you see behind me, Pact of Vengeance, where I got to co-star with Diamante and this karate guy Len Kabazinski. He directed and made it. And it's a fantastic film. Look for it on major streaming platforms pretty soon. I've been doing other acting. I just did some stunt work on a show that'll be airing on FX pretty soon. And I just signed with a commercial talent agent this week, and I'm looking for other representation. So I'm keeping open, I'm keeping active, and I'm doing my thing. I've been traveling a lot. I just did some lucha libre training in Mexico, which was fun. I've been back and forth to New York City working with a wonderful independent called Catalyst Wrestling. Keep an eye out for them. They're a lot of fun. So it's been nice. It's been wonderful, and I'm thrilled. I'm excited.
I was gonna say, man, I'm like, you're just everywhere, doing this with
Everywhere.
wrestling, doing this with acting. Is acting something you've always wanted to do? When did this all get started?
I was when I was a kid, I was represented.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I remember this.
I was
Yeah.
represented when I was 5. Oh man, I'm spacing on her name, unfortunately. Um, but I was represented. I got a few callbacks on stuff, and nothing ever panned out. And then life happens, and I kind of me, my folks, we all moved on. And then I got the interest when I've always had the interest to do it, but then when I had the connections through wrestling and everything, it was a little easier to obtain. And so absolutely, it's something I want to dive into. I just finished the beginner improv course at the Groundlings Theater in Los Angeles, which is fun to be over there making different contacts and working with a lot of those individuals. I'm going to continue to study there to hopefully move on to some other stuff through them as well. So since I'm not full time at AEW, I figure I might as well make full time myself with whatever I'm doing.
Of course, and I gotta ask you because improv is so much fun. Like they always have you do like the most random things. I feel when it comes to acting and acting classes, they always have you do things that you would never expect, but it ends up helping you in terms of like your acting abilities and just getting comfortable. But then at the same time, when it comes to pro wrestling, I feel like that's the ultimate training because you're out there in front of thousands of people and they're watching millions at home, whatever the case is. I
Yeah.
feel like there's no training like pro wrestling training. So when you go go into your acting classes here in LA, obviously you get a lot of actors, comedians, singers, hosts, models, all of that. You don't get very many wrestlers. So, what do your friends and like peers there tell you? Like, is it like, oh shit, like you're a wrestler? What?
Yeah, they a lot of it is that they find it very easy to work with, and that you don't ask for a lot, and it's very confusing to a lot of them. But we get along a lot, and then what's fun is to talk about the art, especially the different mediums that they come from, like whether like a comic or an improv artist, sketch or whatever. You kind of put together the art together, and you see where they cross over a lot of it and what is unique to each of them, because there is no training like wrestling, absolutely. But then doing this improv training, there was a lot of stuff where I found I lack completely, and then I'm set up on stage just my you know just my hands, and I have no idea what to say, and it can be very frustrating and embarrassing. But it helps you think on your feet, and then it's just kind of see where the art forms cross over. I'm like, oh, I recognize what's going on right now because of what I've done in the ring. So the transition was, I guess, easier as well.
So we know that the wrestling can help the improv. How has your improv helped your wrestling?
It helps you think on your feet. There's a lot of wrestling's talking. Wrestling's a lot of talking. So I definitely want to get better on my feet. There's one thing to memorize a promo and pace back and forth and memorize what you need to say, and then also going out there and just kind of saying what you need to say. And if I'm not going to get the practice with in some areas, then I'm going to try to get the practice somewhere else.
Yeah, hell yeah. So I do want to rewind a little bit because, earlier I kind of ran down some of the promotions that you've been working with. And, on top of this, you mentioned all the acting stuff. Peter, what has it been like for you to kind of take charge once again and have the ability to basically be like, yes, I can take this booking. No, I can't take this booking. Let me be here this month. And yes, I can be in New York that month. What has that done for you in terms of like, I guess, has it reignited your spirit?
Yeah, take my power back, because now I can kind of dictate what I'm doing. I could say yes and no to things. So it's been wonderful. I've taken back over a producer role at the Championship Wrestling show. I play I'm talent relations there, and I also help write the show with my partner Daniel Hill. So that's been nice. I take what I learned with Championship Wrestling from Arizona, and I apply it to Championship Wrestling. That's the name now, Championship Wrestling.
And I
And
kept waiting for you to say,
yeah,
and it kept it slid from me for a second because I'm like, I'm so
yes,
used to saying championship wrestling from Hollywood,
we
of
are
the
not
Hollywood,
regional. We are
etc.
not. Yeah, we're not regional anymore. It's United Wrestling presents Championship Wrestling, presented by CarShield. So thanks, CarShield. We have that national product, so be able to take what I've learned from everything else and to apply it here and help guys who are looking to do the same thing, especially in California, obviously, and help to elevate their game. And maybe we'll see some national stars come out of here too. We got a lot of good guys here. Like there's Jordan Cruz, Julius Coleman, Judiz, excuse me. So there's a lot of good talent out here that can go the next step, national level.
Yeah, exactly. That's really awesome. So, Peter, I do want to ask you because I feel like now that you're not, technically full time with AEW, and since that you've been on board with the company from the very beginning, for you, where are you at in terms of are you okay with that? Do you, did you want to be more full time with AEW? How do you feel about all of that?
I'm Dynamite since day one, and I love AEW. I want to die an AEW legend. You know what I mean? Like I want to be in that introductory class of the AEW Academy, for the Hall of Fame, whatever. So it's like I want to grow with the company, and I've always been loyal to if you believe in me, I believe in you, and I've always been loyal to a fault sometimes. But I'm playing for full time. I'm playing for a full time contract. That's what I desire, and that's what I want is a full-time contract. I like being able to have the freedom, absolutely, but I would like to be full-time somewhere.
Do you feel like you're in the stage right now of sort of proving yourself to be somebody that, like, yes, you should want me full time, none of this part time stuff? Do you feel like you have
Yeah.
to like prove yourself?
I am an overall asset. I've helped I helped elevate the Arizona show to something within a short time that was like the talked about show in Arizona. And then I'm helping to elevate the championship wrestling show. We're going to make that grow into a bigger product where people want to come and grow. A lot of the people that appeared on our show first, we helped to develop into television stars. We helped get Max Caster ready for AEW, like things like that. So we have a lot of people that have come through our doors that we have gotten ready for television. MJF, we booked on the Arizona show way before the AEW because we were, developing for TV. All these guys we helped to get better for television that have come through there. But I want to be full time somewhere, and I want to be able to apply everything that I've had and everything that I've learned as an overall package, like I am, constantly growing, constantly evolving. I want to be able to be full time and apply those assets somewhere.
You mentioned being full time somewhere. So you didn't just specify AEW. Is WWE something that you'd be interested in?
Well, WWE's always kind of been the dream. That's what got a lot of us into wrestling. You know what I mean? To say that no would I think would be maybe lying. Of course, I wanted to be a wrestler because of the WWE. I admired Kurt Angle and all these super athletes. And then even to what it is now, where a lot of my peers that are at AEW have passed through there. And so it's, of course, it's been an idea that's passed through my mind. I've absolutely had meetings with people there. I know a lot of the people there. Adam Pearce is a peer and mentor of mine. I grew in the standard, our group there at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood back in the day it was Pierce, the NWA champion, Joey Chaos, Austin Aries, and myself, and we stayed connected through there as I've grown through the industry. Different avenues. I've worked for Impact, worked for NWA, worked for New Japan, and I've also done different things at different places where I've done like low key producing. I was featured in a Lucha Underground segment. They used me to do an enhancement segment for Phoenix, and Phoenix kind of beat me up. And then I was also one of the extras where I had to put on this like Aztec warrior face paint, and the guy shooting it just could not figure out how to get the shot he wanted because he didn't get wrestling, I guess. And so I just kind of spoke up and I directed the shot. So it's
Nice.
like I've always just kind of done stuff like that because I got to pat myself on the back. I feel I know what I'm doing.
That's really cool. And have these conversations with WWE ever gotten anywhere where you feel like something may concrete be happening, or do you feel like has it just been like nothing too concrete yet? Like how recent is this?
I mentioned to your number one enemy,
Oh,
Sean
my
Ross Sapp.
pal.
Yeah, I mentioned to him on his show that I was actually I would have been on 205 Live potentially. I had a tryout match in Arizona that went very well, and I started to be introduced to different producers and different important people, and just kind of told like, let's talk. But then when AEW kind of came through, they had more concrete plans of what they wanted to do. So that to me was they believed in me fully because they had something completely. They had a character. They told me to keep this date open for Double or Nothing in Las Vegas. Cody was very adamant about keeping the date open. The Bucks and Chris Daniels and everybody were so excited to tell me about this character and that they thought I'd be perfect for the library character. And so I was like, yeah, I'm on board, absolutely. If you believe in me, I believe in you, 100%. Like I like that symbiosis, that symbiotic relationship because the tide rises, all ships will rise together. You know what I mean? So that's, yeah. So they had something more concrete for me, and then ultimately pen and paper. So I said, oh yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go with this, not like I didn't discuss it with different attorneys, different important people to me, Pierce, David Marquez, and different people like that. And ultimately I was told to bet on myself, and I went with who had pen and paper, and that was AEW.
Right, you can't pass up on a sure thing, right? When it's, like, right there in your face, like, this is the thing that's the sure thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole thing was exciting to see my pals up there thrilled about building something with Tony, who was such a genuine guy and spirit to see on stage. It's like, oh, wow, like these guys are truly excited about making a difference. You know what I mean? Then you have Jericho tacked on, and you have all these other guys like, wow, this is exciting. This is thrilling. This is cool. Of course, I would want to be a part of this. And for them to consider me, Dynamite since day one, absolutely. I was gung ho. I absolutely to be full time with them when I it was wonderful. I enjoyed every experience to be with them through the pandemic. Made me feel like an asset, because we were working through the dangers together and to create something. I'd show up. It's like whether or not we had something or not, we would make the best of it and turn it into something. And me and Brandon, in our opinion, the king of darks because of that. We built something entertaining for people to follow online through the pandemic, and all that was just kind of organic and built with us. And AEW gave us that platform, absolutely. So I'm loyal to AEW, absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool because you got to see the journey from the beginning to where
Yeah,
it's at now, where it's grown like just
yes,
drastically, it's kind of
incredible.
crazy. So with that being said, Peter, like I before we jump into the game portion of all of our interview, I do want to ask you, have your we talked about you wanting to be full time. Uh where do you like how like what's your estimate? Do you think you're closer to that? Uh where are you at in terms of all of
Absolutely.
that?
Why wouldn't anybody want full-time Pete? I mean, shit. I'm with myself every day. Of course you want it every day. How can you not? Come on.
You're like, "Is this the full time?" I know exactly what it's
Yeah,
like to
yeah,
have.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Exactly.
really cool. No, I think it's awesome that you're doing like all of this, like working with like everybody, and then on top of them adding the like acting portion to all of it. It's just kind of
Absolutely.
crazy
Could
too.
be
Like,
full-time New Japan, full-time NWA, full-time acting, something. Give me something full-time.
yeah, it's just oh my god, so much work. Okay. Peter, there you go. That is a wrap for us here today. But before we go, please tell the people where they can support you, where they can find you, where they can watch your stuff and all of that.
You can catch me twitter.com/Pavalon, Instagram.com/PPA all day. I have a website, PeterAvalon.com. You can see me kicking ass at New Japan. That's right. I'll be there November, December when we're out in LA. You can see me on AEW. I just had my match with Brandon Cutler. So go back, review that, see how incredible I am in victory. Catch my show, Championship Wrestling, and just keep a lookout for Big Pete.
Awesome. I'm going to post all of the links to that in the description box below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next vid.